The alien girl's name was Leora, a proud daughter of the noble house of Zirene. Her people ruled the planet Virelia, where order, tradition, and bloodlines mattered more than anything. Humans were nothing to them, just wild, emotional creatures from a far-off blue planet. Leora never imagined she would be assigned to study one, but today, that changed. A human ship had crash-landed near the outer sand reaches. It was small, maybe just one crew member on board. As part of her diplomatic training, Leora was sent to investigate. She wore her ceremonial armor, her long purple hair tied back, and her Soulmate indicator band glowing dull gray on her wrist. Like always, she never expected it to glow. The wreckage was still smoking when she arrived. Local guards had already formed a perimeter. The human survivor had been pulled from the debris, unconscious, bruised, but alive. Leora walked over, her boots crunching against the cracked sand. Her heart beat a little faster as she got closer. She had never seen a real human before. He looked soft, weaker than she expected, but there was something strange about him too, something that made her pause. "Is he dangerous?" she asked the guard beside her. "Scanners say no weapons, just unconscious." Leora nodded and knelt beside the human. "Just a quick health check," she told herself. She reached out to touch his wrist to feel his pulse, and then everything changed. The moment her skin touched his, her Soulmate indicator blinked red, then glowed bright crimson. She gasped and pulled her hand away like she'd been burned. Her heart thundered in her chest. The guard stepped back, unsure what was happening. "No," she whispered, staring at her wrist. "This is not possible." Soulmate indicators were ancient Virelian tech, implanted at birth. They detected perfect biological and emotional matches. It was rare, sacred, and always between Virelians. Never with a human. Leora stood up slowly, her legs shaking. The red glow didn't fade. It pulsed, alive, as if the bond was real. She looked down at the human again. He was still unconscious, still unaware that his life had just been tied to hers in a way neither of them could ever escape. She stepped back. Her mind raced. If the council finds out, if my family learns this, her people would never accept it. Her bloodline would be shamed. A match with a human would be seen as betrayal. She looked around. One of the younger guards, Varnak, was staring at her wrist. His eyes were wide with shock. Leora quickly pulled her sleeve over the indicator. "It's broken," she said quickly. "Malfunction. I'll get it checked." But Varnak didn't look convinced. "You touched him," he said quietly. "And it activated." "I said it's broken," she snapped, her voice sharper than intended. She turned back to the human. He groaned softly and moved a little. He was waking up. Leora's heart skipped. She had to decide fast. Leave him and deny the bond, or help him and risk everything. She looked at her wrist again. The red light was steady now, warm, almost like a heartbeat. She clenched her fists. "This human," she said to the guards, "is under my protection now. No one touches him but me. Understood?" The guards hesitated. This was not standard protocol. "But my lady," Varnak began. "I will report to the council myself," she said firmly. "You will do as I say." They nodded slowly. Varnak still looked troubled. Leora took one last glance at the human. He was breathing normally now. His face was peaceful, unaware of the storm coming. She turned and walked away, her mind spinning. She had trained her whole life to be strong, loyal, and noble, but now she was soulbound to a species her people barely respected, and the human didn't even know it yet. Darkness slowly faded as Ethan opened his eyes. His head ached, his throat was dry, and everything felt strange. He wasn't on Earth. The ceiling above him was smooth and glowing softly like a sky without stars. The air was warm and smelled of flowers he couldn't name. He tried to sit up, but his body refused. His last memory was the crash. Alarms blaring, fire spreading, and then cold silence. Now, He was alive. Somewhere, alien. He's awake, a soft voice said. Ethan turned his head. Standing by his side was a tall female, definitely not human. Her skin shimmered faint purple under the light, and her eyes were bright like twin moons. Her long hair flowed down her back, silver in the strange light. Who are you?" he croaked. The alien girl hesitated before speaking. "I'm called Leora. You were found near death. We brought you here." "Where is—" "Here. You are, on planet Virelia, and you are lucky to be alive." He noticed she wasn't meeting his eyes. Her hands were clasped tightly in front of her like she was hiding something, or afraid. He tried to sit again, groaning. Leora quickly stepped forward and gently helped him. As soon as her fingers touched his skin, her wrist device lit up again, flashing, red beneath her sleeve. She froze. Ethan noticed the glow. "What's that?" "Nothing," she said quickly, pulling her hand away. "You must rest." But Ethan didn't let it go. "Is that a scanner?" "No." Her voice was firm. "It's not your concern." Ethan raised an eyebrow. Something about her was odd. She acted like someone hiding a deep secret. And her people, where were they? "Why am I alone with you?" he asked. "Why not soldiers? Scientists? Why you?" Leora didn't answer at first. Then she looked into his eyes slowly. "Because no one else could be here. Because no one else must find out." "I am the reason you're still breathing," she finally said. "That should be enough." Ethan leaned back and studied her. She looked angry but also nervous, like she was battling something inside her. "You saved me." "Thank you," he said quietly. Her expression softened, just for a moment. "I had no choice," she whispered almost to herself. Suddenly there was a knock at the door. Leora stiffened. It slid open, and Varnak, one of the royal guards, stepped inside. His golden armor reflected the room's light, but his expression was darker than steel. "My lady," he said sharply, "the council asks for a report on the human, and someone reported your indicator reacted." Leora's eyes narrowed. "That's a lie." "Is it?" Varnak stepped closer, glaring at Ethan. "Perhaps we should scan him. See if he's infected, or worse." Ethan tried to sit up again. "I'm right here, you know." "Silence. Primitive," Varnak snapped. Before he could take another step, Leora moved between them. "He is under my protection. No scans, no harm." Varnak's eyes widened. "You cannot be serious. You touched him. The device glowed. You know what that means." "I know what it shouldn't mean," she said coldly. "A Virelian matching." "With a human? Impossible." "Then prove it. Let me scan him." Leora paused. She looked back at Ethan, still weak, still confused, but his eyes held something no scanner could measure: trust. Even though he didn't know her, even though she had every reason to reject him. She turned to Varnak. "Leave. That is an order." Varnak's fists clenched, but he obeyed. "This is not over," he growled before leaving. The door hissed shut. Ethan let out a breath. "What the hell is going on?" Leora looked down at her wrist. The glow was still there, soft and steady. She sat beside him and finally spoke the truth. "Our people are given soulmate indicators. If we touch our fated one, it glows. Mine reacted when I touched you." Ethan blinked. "Soulmate?" "Yes." He laughed, then winced. "That's insane." "I agree," she said, looking away. "But it still happened?" "Yes." Silence filled the room. Then Ethan said quietly, "So, what now?" Leora looked up, eyes full of conflict. "If the council finds out, they'll see you as a threat. They'll take you, study you, maybe worse. Because of some glowing bracelet? Because of what it means," she said. "To them you're a human, a lesser being, not worthy of touching a royal, let alone being bonded to one. Ethan leaned forward. And to you? Leora didn't speak, but the way her hand hovered near his said more than words. She didn't know yet, but she was starting to wonder. Night had fallen on Virelia, and the sky shimmered with 2 moons hanging low over the crystal trees. But inside the ancient temple ruins, hidden from the city's eyes, Leora sat beside a fire that wasn't hers, and a human who wasn't supposed to exist in her world the way he did now. Ethan was fast asleep, curled in a soft blanket she'd stolen from the infirmary. His breathing was calm, chest rising and falling gently. Leora watched him with mixed feelings, curiosity, fear, and something else she didn't yet have the courage to name. How could the Soulmate indicator be wrong? She had run every possibility through her head. Malfunction? Fake signal? A trick? But every test she'd done in private showed the same thing. The bond was real. It wasn't supposed to be possible. Her people didn't bond with humans. The council had declared it a biological impossibility centuries ago. Yet, here he was. And here she was, hiding him from her own people, a noble royal betraying her bloodline. She looked down at her wrist. The red light from the indicator still glowed faintly under the fabric. Suddenly Ethan stirred. He opened his eyes slowly and blinked at the stars through the open roof. "This isn't a prison," he said, sitting up carefully. "I thought you might lock me up." Leora gave a faint smile. "I should have." Ethan looked at her. "But you didn't." "No," she admitted. "Because if I did, you would not be breathing now." He rubbed his hands together near the fire. "This soulmate thing, why is it so dangerous? You saved me. Shouldn't that be a good thing?" Leora shook her head. "In our world, soulmates are sacred, rare, and highly controlled. If a noble like me bonds with someone unapproved, it's seen as corruption. And I'm unapproved," Ethan said flatly. "You're human," she replied. That single word carried weight. Years of judgment, fear, mistrust. Ethan leaned back against a pillar, staring up. "You know, on Earth, soulmates are just a story, a fantasy. We don't have lights on our wrists or fate detectors. And yet you're mine," Leora whispered before she could stop herself. Ethan turned his head. "Say that again? I didn't mean—" she started, but her voice caught in her throat. He was watching her now, eyes gentle but sharp. "So what now? You can't take me home. You can't show me to your people. What's the plan?" "I don't know," she admitted, feeling the weight of that truth crush her. In the distance, the sound of energy bikes echoed faintly. Leora stood up at once. "They're searching," she said. "We have to move." "Who's searching?" "The council sent hunters," she said. "Not soldiers, trackers, silent, brutal. If they find us, they won't talk." Ethan stood. "Then let's go." She grabbed a small pouch of supplies and led him through a narrow path behind the temple ruins. The way was dark, surrounded by glowing moss and floating insects, but Leora knew every step. As they walked, Ethan said, "You really believe in fate?" Leora didn't answer immediately. She looked at him under the moonlight. His face was marked. By pain, yes, but also strength. He wasn't like the others she had studied. He had humor, patience, and kindness. And somehow, without even trying, he had changed her world in a single touch. "I used to," she said softly. "Until I met you." Ethan chuckled. "Gee, thanks. I didn't mean it like that," she said quickly. "You're just unexpected." He smiled. "Well, that makes 2 of us." Suddenly, something rustled ahead. Leora pulled him behind. A rock. 2 glowing eyes appeared in the dark. One of the council's tracker beasts. A cyberhound with metal claws and a nose designed to follow heat and pheromones. It sniffed the air, growled once, then moved on. They didn't move until it was gone. Ethan whispered, "That thing was hunting me, wasn't it?" "No," she said, her voice trembling. It was hunting us. As they continued down the hidden path, a cold wind blew through the alien forest. And for the first time, Leora didn't feel like royalty. She didn't feel like a leader or a warrior. She just felt human and hopelessly, dangerously connected to someone she was never meant to care about. But it was too late now. The bond had been formed, and nothing would ever be the same again. The queue. Wind howled like a living thing as Leora and Ethan stood on the edge of the canyon. Below them, electric storms crackled through the twisting rocks of the storm fields. A deadly zone no sane Virelian dared to enter. The sky above flickered with violet lightning. The only path forward was through it. Ethan stared down at the storm. "You're not serious." "We don't have a choice," Leora said, pulling her cloak tighter. "They've blocked every exit. The storm is our only cover." Ethan looked back. Distant lights danced in the sky. Pursuers. "How bad is this place?" he asked. "Most who enter never come out." He blinked. "And this is your best idea?" Leora turned to face him, her eyes glowing softly in the dark. "You asked me if I believed in fate," she said. "Now I ask you, do you trust me?" He looked at her. Really looked. Alien. Beautiful. Brave. Scared. But she was also the only reason he was still alive. He nodded. "I do." They ran together, hand in hand, into the storm. The moment they crossed into the storm fields, the world changed. The air was thick with static. Sparks jumped between their fingers. Strange, glowing rocks floated just above the ground, humming with power. It was like walking through a living thundercloud. "Stay close," Leora warned. "If you lose sight of me, shout. I'll just follow the purple hair," Ethan joked, but his voice was tense. Then a bolt of lightning struck nearby and the ground shook. Leora grabbed Ethan's hand tightly. "This way. The stones mark an old smuggler path." The path was narrow and slippery. Wind slammed against them from all sides. Sharp rain stung their faces. Ethan tripped once, then again, but Leora never let go. As they ducked under a low rock arch, something behind them growled. They both froze. From the storm mist, a black drone beast emerged, half machine, half predator. Its metal limbs clawed into the ground. Red eyes locked onto them. "It followed us in?" Ethan gasped. "It doesn't care about the storm," Leora whispered. "Only the target." "Which one of us?" She didn't answer. Because she knew it was after both. The creature pounced. They ran, twisting, jumping over gaps, dodging live energy spikes. The air roared with electric madness, and the beast was right behind them. Leora spotted a narrow split between the rocks. "There!" she yelled. She pushed Ethan through first. The beast lunged. She slipped in just in time. The drone crashed against the stone, snarling, but couldn't follow. They collapsed on the ground, breathing hard. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then Ethan laughed, breathless. "If this is what dating you is like, I'm terrified of meeting your parents." Leora looked at him and smiled. Really smiled. It was the first time he'd seen her laugh, and it felt right. But the moment was broken by a strange pulsing sound. Leora looked at her wrist. Her soulmate indicator was no longer red. It was glowing gold. She stared at it, heart racing. "Is that good?" Ethan asked. Leora swallowed. "Gold means the bond has evolved." "Evolved how?" She looked at him, her voice almost a whisper. "Stronger. Deeper. It's a connection that only happens once in a generation. I've only heard about it in stories." Ethan stared at the glowing light. "And this happened because I grabbed your hand?" She shook her head. "Because you chose me, and I chose you." Meanwhile, far above the storm, deep in the council hall, the high priestess opened her ancient book of bonds. Her eyes widened as a new golden mark burned onto the sacred pages. "Impossible," she whispered. The chamber fell silent. A human matched, not just bonded but golden. She turned to the elders. The prophecy may be real. The union we feared is happening. Should we send assassins? One elder asked. No, the priestess said coldly. Send the hand of silence. No witnesses, no survivors. Back inside the storm shelter, Ethan and Leora shared a quiet moment. She rested her head against his shoulder. You were right, we are different, but maybe that's not bad. Ethan smiled. We'll figure it out. Outside, the storm raged on, but inside, something stronger than lightning had been born. Trust, connection, love. And now the galaxy would have to deal with it. Deep in the jungle heart of Virelia, where vines glowed with gentle light and the air was thick with the whispers of ancient spirits, stood a forgotten temple. No council members came here. No nobles dared to walk its cracked stone path. But Leora led Ethan forward, her steps sure, her eyes nervous. This place, she said softly, is older than my people's kingdom, older than the council itself. Ethan followed close behind. What are we doing here? Leora stopped before a massive, stone door shaped like a pair of wings. There's only one being who can explain what's happening between us now, she said. The Oracle. Ethan raised an eyebrow. So some kind of ancient alien fortune teller? She's more than that. She sees what science can't. Truth, fate, prophecy. The door rumbled open on its own, sensing Leora's presence. They stepped into the glowing chamber beyond, where the floor pulsed with blue energy. Floating stones circled the center, and at the heart of it all, a tall figure, half light and half flesh, stood silently. The Oracle, her voice echoed without lips moving. You come seeking answers, daughter of Zerine, and you bring with you the impossible. Leora dropped to one knee. Ethan stood awkwardly beside her. I didn't mean for this, Leora said. But the indicator? It chose him, and now it's gold. The Oracle's form shimmered. The golden bond is rare, sacred, and extremely dangerous. Ethan stepped forward. Dangerous for who? Us or your people? The Oracle turned her glowing gaze toward him. For everyone, because your union was written before either of you was born. Leora's eyes widened. What do you mean? The Oracle floated down to touch the stone platform with her bare feet. A time is coming soon when the galaxy will tear itself apart. A great war. A collapse. She looked at Ethan. Unless the golden bond stands strong. Ethan swallowed. So, we're some kind of space couple that saves the universe? Leora frowned. He doesn't take this seriously, but the Oracle's voice turned solemn. If your bond survives, you will change everything. But if it breaks... She raised her hand and pointed to the glowing wall. An image appeared. A vision of burning cities, falling starships, and dead worlds. Then even the strongest will fall. Leora's heart pounded. Why us? The Oracle smiled faintly. Because you are the first to break the wall between species, between heart and duty, and because love, real love, can rewrite destiny. Ethan stepped back. The images of fire still burned in his mind. Are you saying all of this started just because I touched her? No, the Oracle said gently. It started because, when you touched her, you stayed. Leora looked at Ethan with new eyes. He didn't run. He didn't fear her. He chose her. Suddenly the chamber shook. The floating stones dropped. The Oracle's form flickered. They found you, she said quickly. Run. Who? Ethan asked. Leora grabbed his hand. The hand of silence, she whispered. Assassins, elite. No talking, no mercy. The Oracle raised both arms. I will hold them, but go now and remember what you've seen. As the walls of the temple began to crack, Leora and Ethan sprinted through a hidden tunnel the Oracle revealed. Behind them, the great temple sealed itself again, trapping the future and the past inside. They emerged in the open jungle, breathless. Under the double moons, Ethan was still shaking. "Tell me this is a nightmare." Leora held his hand tightly. "No, this is fate." He looked at her. "Do you believe it now?" She hesitated, then nodded. "Yes." He looked at her soulmate indicator, still glowing gold. And this time he didn't laugh or question it. He just whispered, "Then we better not let it break." The jungle was quiet. Too quiet. Leora and Ethan moved through thick, glowing vines and whispering leaves, their steps light but hurried. The oracle's warning still echoed in their minds. If your bond breaks, the galaxy breaks with it. But fate wasn't done testing them yet. They reached a small clearing surrounded by crystal-rooted trees. In the center stood an old vine-covered outpost, Leora's childhood hideout. It used to be a place of peace. Now it had to become their safe house. "We'll rest here," Leora said. "No one knows this place." Ethan nodded, wiping sweat from his brow. "Good, because I can't outrun another assassin today." Leora gave a weak smile. She didn't tell him the truth. Not yet. She had a bad feeling. Inside the outpost, Leora activated a small shield around the perimeter. The air shimmered blue for a second. An old Virelian cloaking field. They sat down on moss-covered cushions, silent for a moment. Ethan looked at her. "So, what do we do now? Keep running forever?" Leora opened her mouth to answer, but a voice cut through the room like a blade. "No. The running ends here." Leora froze. From the doorway stepped Varnak, her most loyal guard, her childhood protector. Now, her betrayer, Varnak. Leora stood up slowly. "How did you find us?" He held up a small device. "You still carry the old communicator crystal. I never stopped tracking it." She touched her belt in horror. She had forgotten. Ethan rose to his feet, fists clenched. "You were following us?" "I was protecting her," Varnak said, eyes locked on Ethan, "until she fell under your spell." "This isn't a spell," Leora said angrily. "The bond is real. The oracle confirmed it. You saw it with your own eyes." Varnak's voice turned cold. "I don't care what magic tricks the oracle shows. He's human. You're royalty. This is an insult to everything our people stand for." Ethan stepped forward. "You don't even know me." "And I don't need to," Varnak growled. "You don't belong in her world. You're just—" "Enough!" Leora shouted. Her voice echoed through the trees. She moved in front of Ethan. "If you want to hurt him," she said quietly, "you'll have to go through me." For a moment, Varnak looked torn. His hands shook. "I served your family for 20 years, he whispered. "I watched you grow. I swore to protect your future." Leora's eyes were glassy. "Then protect it now. Ethan is my future." Varnak's face twisted in pain, and then he pressed a button. Behind him, the trees moved. 6 shadowy figures in black armor stepped out, the hand of silence. Ethan reached for a rock. "Leora." "I see them," she said. Her soulmate indicator glowed bright gold now, brighter than ever before. "You led them here," she whispered, staring at Varnak. "I gave you a chance to come home," he said sadly. "You chose wrong." She closed her eyes. Then, she chose. She spun and grabbed Ethan's hand. "Hold tight. What are you—" She slammed her other hand onto the control panel in the wall. Boom! The entire outpost exploded with blinding light. A hidden escape route opened beneath them. They fell, together, into the dark. They slid down a long tunnel of smooth rock, landing deep underground. Dust filled the air. Lights flickered. Ethan coughed. "You had a trapdoor?" Leora nodded. "I grew up here. I planned for everything, except betrayal." He touched her shoulder. "You couldn't have known, but deep inside, she felt the pain. Varnak was family, and he had chosen the council over her, over the bond, over love." In the silence of the tunnel, Leora turned to Ethan. "We can't hide anymore. Not now. Not after this. What does that mean? It means, she said firmly, we go to the capital. We face the council, together. Ethan stared at her. They'll kill me. Not if we show them what we are, she said. Not if we make them see. He looked down at her wrist. The golden light pulsed softly, and now, for the first time, it pulsed on his skin too. A faint shimmer across his chest. Leora, he whispered. What's happening to me? She stared in awe. The bond, it's spreading to you. For the first time in history, a human was glowing back. The twin suns of Virelia rose slowly over the silver towers of the capital city. Beneath that quiet sunrise, something unimaginable was about to happen. Something that would shake the stars and rewrite ancient law. Two figures stepped into the eye, heart of the royal plaza, surrounded by guards, nobles, and the High Council. A noble alien girl and a human. Leora stood tall in her ceremonial robes, her golden soulmate indicator glowing bright and fierce. Beside her was Ethan, dressed in simple clothes, but with something far more powerful now pulsing beneath his skin. A matching golden glow. The bond had completed itself. He wasn't just a foreigner anymore, he was her match, her equal, her destiny. Whispers exploded among the crowd. Is that the human? Why is he glowing too? That's impossible. He's not even Virelian. The high priestess stepped forward, face carved with stone-hard judgment. Leora Zerine, she said, voice sharp. You return not as a daughter of the house, but with defiance in your heart. You bring this outsider before us. Explain yourself. Leora stepped forward, holding Ethan's hand. This is Ethan of Earth, she said clearly, and he is my soulmate. Gasps spread like wildfire. The priestess raised her staff. That cannot be. The sacred bond is of our bloodline only. Then explain this, Leora said. She held up her wrist. The golden light blazed, brighter than ever. And then Ethan lifted his hand. The same gold light pulsed in sync, a perfect match. The entire plaza fell silent. Not even the birds dared to sing. The oracle suddenly appeared, hovering down from the temple steps, radiant and ghostlike. I warned you all, she said. The golden bond would return, not between Virelians, but between different hearts. She turned to the council. Your fear of change has blinded you. You tried to control love, to lock fate in chains, but fate broke free. The priestess growled. This bond will destroy our order. No, the oracle said softly. It will save it. At that moment, ships from the outer colonies flew above the city. Holograms lit up in the sky, broadcasting Leora and Ethan's image to the entire planet. Alien workers stopped in their factories. Children paused in their schools. Soldiers froze in their training. For the first time, everyone saw it. The golden bond glowing between a Virelian noble and a human. And they didn't see weakness. They saw hope. Suddenly, a sharp cry rang out. One of the council guards drew his weapon and aimed at Ethan. Kill the human now, end this madness. But before he could fire, Varnak appeared. The same Varnak who had betrayed them. But this time he stepped between Ethan and the weapon. No, he said. I was wrong. The guard hesitated. Varnak looked at Leora. I saw the truth too late. The bond is real, and I will defend it with my life. Then he turned, saluted Leora, and dropped to one knee before Ethan. I failed you, but let me fix it now. The weapon was lowered. A decision had been made. Later that day, in the great halls of power, the council rewrote its most ancient law. Let no species, blood, or world be barred from the right to bond. Let love decide. Let unity rise. Leora stood on the balcony looking out at the cheering crowds. Ethan stood beside her, unsure. You really think your people are ready for this? He asked. No, she said honestly. But they will be. He smiled. You know, Back on Earth, I was just some lost traveler. And now? She asked. He looked at her glowing wrist. Now I'm the human who changed your world. She touched his hand gently. No, Ethan. You're the human who saved it. Final scene. Somewhere deep in the galaxy, a new planet sent a message to Virelia. We saw your signal. We saw the bond. And we're ready to join the peace. The first, golden bond had awakened the stars, and this was only the beginning.